Hi, are you a solo traveler like I am and always wondering how far I can go for as little money as possible or maybe even for free? Well, I put this video together in my YouTube channel to share with you how I travel all over the world, either free or very inexpensively. And this video is specifically about the summer accommodations that I've arranged for myself throughout Northern California. So this is about house sitting and pet sitting. On occasion, you find a place that only wants you to watch the house. There could be insurance reasons, or they just don't want to leave the house empty. But for the most part, 99% of the time, you have a pet to take care of. But you can also filter out for dogs or cats and eliminate the goats and the chickens and the horses, which I also don't take care of. The deal is there are some compromises that you have to make when you're house sitting or pet sitting. And as that engineer's triangle is, good, cheap, and fast, you can't get all three, right? So when you're pet sitting or house sitting, in the case of pet sitting, the dog or the cat always comes first, the house comes second, and your needs come third. So for me, that compromise to stay in beautiful homes in beautiful cities and explore Northern California, those compromises are fine with me, and I love taking care of animals. So for me, it's a good fit. So let me share with you how I went through this process. I was in Melbourne and planning to come back to the United States, or thinking about it to come back to the Northern Hemisphere for the summer. So back in February, I started looking for these pet sits. And on my next video, I'll talk about the app that I used and how I went through the application process and got to where I am today, which is sitting in a beautiful home in Larkspur, California. And I'm taking care of this beautiful, beautiful cat. So in February, back in Melbourne, I decided I'm going to come back and I needed to start looking for house sits. I'm also a house sitter or pet sitter who does not like to move every 2 or 3 days. That's just not my style. So when I set up the search parameters to find these house sits, I said they had to be a minimum of a month. And then it only gave me the month-long sits that were available. And at first I started with all of California and then decided I really wanted to concentrate on Northern California. Then decided to challenge myself, and instead of taking long breaks in between, that I would actually try and find some week-long sits or some 10-day sits to fill in the gaps in between there. And I had to keep an Excel spreadsheet because at some point it became so busy and you apply for more than one at the same period of time because you may not get them all. And I'll talk about that in a second. Now I'll show you how many days, what the dates were, and the location. I do have my own car. When I got back from Melbourne, I picked it up, and that's another video on how I've used that asset to make money for the last 2 years that I've been on the road, and drove from Las Vegas over to California to start this process of spending the summer pet sitting. I can do some quick math for you. It's basically 163 days from May till October that I'll be pet sitting. Of those, 136 are pet or house sits that I have scheduled. And only 27 require me to find my own accommodation. So that's 1 month between May and October spread out during that entire time that I've got to find a hotel or another house sit or go see a friend or do something else. So for me, in terms of my budget, if I have accommodations from May to October and only have to worry about 27 days, that is well within my budget and is completely doable and in beautiful places all over. And that 136 days amounts to 9 house sits. So I'm not bopping around. I mean, I am moving around, but it's not like I'm moving every day or every other day because that is just not my style. In order to get to those 9 house sits, I made 60 applications. So they had the right dates, they had the right location, they had what looked like a beautiful, the right home and the right pets that I thought would be good. So we go through all of that. Some of them, I would say only about 10% rejected me. And it could have been because they had a past house sitter coming back or pet sitter coming back, or they just didn't like my application, whatever. I don't take any of this personally. This is a process. I also declined a fair amount of them because it wasn't a good fit in terms of what they required for their pets or their homes. And I will tell you, a lot of them are new. A lot of the folks are new to pet and house sitting because of COVID. They're just starting to travel again. So they're trying to figure out how to take care of their pets in their homes while they're gone. And so they're trying to reach out and do this. As I said in my next video, I'll talk about the app and the application process and how you get selected as a house or a pet sitter. So I rejected some of them for a number of reasons. Most of the people are very honest about their pets, and we have a lot of COVID pets here. And a lot of them required you to stay home for 24 hours a day because they've been working from home and they have pets with severe separation anxiety. Well, I am not traveling solo around the world, so I have to sit in a home all day. So I rejected those. I said, thanks very much, but that's probably not a good fit for me. And if they're honest, and most of them are on their description of the home and the pet, then you know that that's not something that you want to do. And most of them were. So in order to get to 9 pet sits, I did 60 applications between February and March. And by April, I had May through October pretty much nailed and ready to go. So I knew what my plan was going to be for my summer. Question of the day: if you're a solo traveler, where are you planning to go? What's your next trip? I am looking forward to sharing more of my tips and tricks in future videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and press that like button because you found something of value here. And stay tuned for my next video. And you can also find me on the web, where'sbabs.com, that has a podcast, photos, and a blog. Thanks again for watching. See you on the road soon.